Hey there, this is Lori, and a question came up regarding how I keep track of my JPEGs when I've done a page, when I've completed a page, and if I could explain how I organize with everything. So I wanted to do this video for you, showing you my workspace. You can see my full workspace here on this particular layout. I'm using a template by FiddleDD, Hello World, and I'm using a multitude of kits from Etc. by Danielle. And the first thing that I will point out is that this is a live text box, and for most designers that do .page files now, there will be a live text box and the name of their store, their designing name, not their store, their designing name, and the name of the template will be in that live text box. And for some, there will also be some instructions. And if there are instructions, I delete those out once I don't need them anymore. And then I start adding in the kit names. So any kit that I open and use in my Windows folders, and you've seen other videos from me showing how I do that, I will take the name of the designer in the kit and list it out so that I have it right here. I don't need to keep a notebook. I don't need to keep track in any other way. I keep it right here. And then once my page is finished, I will put in the name that I'm going to give the JPEG when I save it. Now the name that I give it, I figured out that it made a lot of sense to have all of my JPEGs come up chronologically in my folder. So I always start them with the year, the 4-digit year, and then a space, and then the 2-digit month. So when it flips to January, those will be 01, and then a space, and the 2-digit day. And I'm going to show you why I do that in a moment, and then another space, and I give it some sort of a title. And usually that title will have something on the page. If even if I don't necessarily think of my page with a title, I'll pick something on the page for a word or some descriptor, just so that's in there too. So I might have 5 layouts from one specific day, so they'll all start this way, but then each one of those will have a slightly different name. So I do that again because I know I'm going to give this name to the JPEG. Now, the other thing you'll see about my workspace is here's the preview of this template, and I leave it here. I like leaving it here because when I work on a template, I may take off a bunch of embellishments and move some things around, but I always like to be able to refer back to the preview that the designer had in mind because I might make some other changes that I don't like, and then I kind of want to go back, so that helps me out. In this particular case, I also have another layout. I did this layout for a challenge at the lily pad, and the challenge was to scrap lift myself, basically. So I took this page that I'd done with the very same template, and I scrap lifted with a totally different picture, totally different theme. So this was my guide, and I put it over here. This is a page I made previously over the summer, and I just stuck it on here so that I could see it. And the rest of this area, when I'm working in my Windows folders, I'll just pull my elements over, and I'll do a lot of my clustering or my shadowing right over here. And I'll move things together, and I'll do what I want, and I'll cut, and I can do a lot over in this area that I have a harder time doing right on top of the page because this all gets distracting. And sometimes I really need to see it better, so instead of doing a lot of zooming up and down, over here when I'm working, I can just enlarge enough so that I can see it. So this is my workspace. Now when I'm done and I have this name for this title, I will highlight and copy whatever I've given it for a name, and then I'm going to go to File, and I can go to Save As, and generally I do export current page, although I could export multiple pages, but I'm going to export the current page. I'm going to flip it to a JPEG, and I'm going to paste in that name. Now you'll see that I've already saved this because I've done this page a few days ago, but I just want to show you what's going to happen at this point. Now here in the folder that I'm putting it in, this is my 2015, so let's just back up for a moment and go here. Here is 2014 and 2013 and 2012. So you can see in 2014 I've got all these pages, and I'm going to show you that a little more in depth in a moment. But in 2015, here's my name. I'm going to hit save. Yes, because I've already saved it. It's there. And I could say, yes, I want to replace it. I'm just going to say no because I don't need to. So that's going to go over into the folder. Now let me show you the folder in more detail. Here's my pages to print or share. Here's my 2015. If I click on that, I have a bunch of other folders. Now each one of these folders is a project. And you can see that I still give them all the same name. And in this case, let me switch to view for a moment. You can see that from 10/11, we were at Disney. So we were very busy. From on 10/11, I have 11 different pages from that day. And then over here, we can get an idea of which page is first or second or third out of those, if it really makes a difference. But the big thing is, I just want all of that day clustered together, and then I can give it whatever name I need to, and the program assigns it according to what page in the project it is. So that's why I love doing it this way so much. So I'm going to go back out of Disney, and let me just go to list. So I do have a few pages in here from 2013, and that's because I wanted to be able to keep my hands right on them. But basically, most of these start with the 2015, and you can see we're in April. So right now for April, I have 20 layouts for April. You can see that I've got them highlighted there. And the great thing is, again, they are all in chronological order. So that just makes it so much easier when I am going in trying to find something later on. If I know a picture was taken in April and I'm digging through, I can just go in and find my Aprils and probably have some idea from the title that I gave it exactly which one it's going to be. So if I go ahead and open something up, I can see, oh, this is from 4/18, and maybe I'm not sure which day it was in April, and I can just go through them right here until I find the right one. So that's basically how I do my naming conventions, how my workspace looks, and then what my final folder looks like afterwards when I have the JPEGs. Hopefully you find that helpful.